Welcome to On the Fringe, where we sit down with people in the indie music scene and find out what it means to them to be on the fringe of the mainstream. I'm Brianna Kohut, former college radio DJ, and today we're talking to a solo indie artist who loves snake facts and, of course, making music. Welcome, Katie McTigue, a.k.a. Pacing.
Hello. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that was the name of your show. That's so cute.
But yes, very nice to have you with us, Miss Katie Pacing.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. I'm excited to talk to you because I know you've got a lot of irons in the fire right now, but we'll get to that. Again, glad to have you with us. I guess we will start at the very beginning of Pacing. So what is the Pacing origin story? How did Pacing as a project come about?
I always say I wanted to sell out. I had no artistic integrity. I was like, how do I write a hit pop song? That was the origin. I was like, I think I was at I did music since I was a kid. I was in bluegrass band at my high school. And I played a cardboard mountain dulcimer as a kid, but I had never written a song. I think just it hadn't occurred to me that you could just write songs. And then at some point I went to Rite Aid and I heard a Justin Bieber song. And I think I just had the thought of I bet I can do that. I don't know if I can do better than that, but I can at least do that. And so I just kind of challenged myself and I started trying to write pop songs. I just started trying to copy people essentially. The goal was just to trick people into thinking that I'd made a real song. And I feel that's still the goal ever since. It's just been look, I'm getting away with it. But eventually I accidentally developed artistic integrity and started making things that were very unique to me that definitely no one else. Selena Gomez does not want to buy my songs about snakes, unfortunately. So
I don't think there was any trick. I think you make really good stuff, but
thank you. I appreciate that. I wish I believed that. It'd be so convenient if I did,
Sometimes I don't write music, but I do write stuff, and when people say that they like it, I'm like, oh, well, you're just saying that.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes they are, that's the problem.
Yeah. You never really know, but just know from me to you, I am saying it, meaning it.
Thank you, Brianna.
So the beginnings of Pacing were I don't want to say an accident.
Terrible intentions. Evil villain origin story. Yes.
Evil villain origin story.
I was how can I spread more mediocrity to the world? You know what the world needs.
And then it snowballed into the anti-folk jams that you are now known for.
Yeah, so I kind of came back to folk because that was my origin. I'm from Florida. I grew up going to the Florida Folk Festival. I loved Randy Newman. I was raised around folk and bluegrass, but I really wanted to be punk. I like bands, things that made me want to write songs. After the Justin Bieber era, where modern baseball, bandy bands, So I really wanted to do that, but it turns out that I didn't know how to do that, and I didn't really know anyone who wanted to do that with me. I kind of circled back around, started doing more stripped down stuff, and then I was like, oh, this feels right. And I think the Kimya Dawson, Regina Spektor influence was in me all along from when I was a kid.
You don't have to have a 5-piece band to make great music. Sometimes you can make good music by yourself. So speaking of writing music by yourself, you do most of the lyric and music composition by yourself, I'm sure. I saw in one of the interviews I was reading in preparation for this, I think it was the chess.com interview. It was
nice.
it was a bar graph of the pacing process of
yes
of getting excited about an idea and then just working your way up and then spiraling
crippling depression
back,
yes
and then coming up with another idea from that spiral back. Like I said before I started recording, I probably would say my favorite song of yours at the moment before LP2 drops is Live Laugh Love from your debut album. Debut, but your first full-length album. I guess kind of using that song as an example, could you expand on the pacing process and writing songs a little bit?
Yeah, it's really different every time, but I think it's so annoying because you start explaining it and then I believe that it is a craft that you can practice and learn and work at and apply logic to. I'm not trying to say it's magic and you just it comes to you, but it kind of does. It is also kind of magic. I almost always just write a song through, the first lyric that I write is usually the start of verse 1, and then I almost always progress that way. But there are often all the time in my notes app I'm collecting stuff. There will be sort of themes to my day / week / year, right, that keep coming back, in the queue, right? So
lyrics you keep in your subconscious.
Yeah, and then there's also I have a bunch of titles. I have a bunch of I have a list of concepts basically that I'm oh, at some point I want to write that song, and it's kind of back there. So with Live Laugh Love, so I typically am producing out the song while I'm recording it. A lot of the time, sometimes it's like 50-50. Like sometimes I'm writing on the guitar and I'm like recording on my phone. Other times I'll like start producing out the song and doing cutting and pasting things and like singing over it like into the microphone. So with Live Laugh Love, the origin was that I was like, oh, there's this song by this emo band that's like, this sucks. That's like how the song starts. And I was like, oh yeah, like I feel that deeply. So that was how it started. So I actually did start from the chorus, I guess, because I was like, I want to write a song that's just like, I suck and I will never be able to say anything original. I think I started recording the verse. I can't remember exactly what the process was, but then I like through wrote it basically from there. And it was kind of like the, if you build it, they will come. I guess I was thinking, you know, just about how like you could put all this work, like the idea with like, you know, making music is that you put all this work into it and then eventually like the right people find it, you know? Yeah, it's just like a grind. And that there's a lot of luck involved. Like that may or may not happen to you. You may do everything right, and then that may or may not, you know, which is like fine. Does that help? Is that every song's a little bit different? So
right. I was just looking for one specific example of the process, and of course the stuff about buying the infamous Live Laugh Love pillow.
Well, I did that after. That was definitely like a core idea. I was like, maybe like I'm the kind of person, like maybe I'm just basic and that's okay, you know? And that's also that's a big theme for me on this next album for sure, is that I'm just like, maybe I just like shitty things and that is okay. I personally don't think that we all need to be like the media that people choose to like is, I don't know, it's all subjective, so.
People are allowed to do the things that make them happy, whether those things are viewed as basic or crappy by other people.
Yeah, and then I feel like sometimes people will like sometimes people think they like things and I'm like, I don't really think you like that. I think you're lying.
Yeah,
like sometimes people
fair.
will like show me a song. I think what they like about it is something aesthetic about it. Like it has like an interesting synth sound in it. The artist is like has a really interesting story, you know? And I'm like, I don't think you actually like that song though. I think you're lying to yourself.
The idea of the song and not the song itself.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
But I'm a jerk, so don't listen to me.
Oh no, you're fine. You mainly do acoustic guitar stuff too. Like Live Laugh Love is just like your guitar and some like I want to say hand clapping for percussion, but I'm not entirely sure how that went.
Yeah, that one's all me in the box, so it's all like, you know, fake drums that I played on my little keyboard. Right, and then there's guitar, there's like fake synth bass sounds. Like that one is pretty much, I think Ben played some guitar. My husband is in my, so like now it's kind of awkward. There's like the transition between like pacing is me and then like pacing the band, like we're going on tour with the band and it's a trio, you know, and Ben's been there pretty consistently. Like he played the guitar in Live Laugh Love, like the lead guitar on acoustic.
He played like, electric on the parking ticket song too, I know.
Yeah, we both play the guitar on that one. Yeah, he played like the lead line. Yeah, so it's like I use him like he's like a far better like a studio musician than I am. You know, like we have very different skills. You know, but like he's like an editor, and then he's like a very strong like he can play anything basically like on any instrument with strings. You can give him a part. And he studied music theory. He's very skilled. He's like a workhorse of recording, right? So I bring him in when I like want something to sound good. And then other times I kind of want it to sound shitty, you know? So we work together very well.
Sounds like it. It's like the perfect combination. You have the ideas and he helps them see them through.
It's highly convenient having like a professional music theorist in your home. Highly recommend. Yeah.
Keep a tiny one in your pocket at all times.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We should sell that.
Every artist is influenced by like the things they love and the things that came before. Obviously, I know one big influence on pacing. Cheekface, of course.
For sure.
Any other artists of note that inspired Pacing Music Band Nation that you'd like to mention?
For sure, yeah. I mean, so like I said, you know, I grew up on like folk, and that was definitely like I think like Kimya Dawson, Regina Spektor, Diane Cluck were artists, like Paul Baraboo too, Jeffrey Lewis, like that anti-folk scene definitely like lodged itself into my brain and was like back there, you know, marinating. And then I really love musical theater. I had like a huge Ben got me into musical theater like when we met when he was in music school, right? And there was like a couple years there where I only listened to musical theater for like 2 years. And that like clearly, you know, had changed my brain chemistry. And I think it made me smarter, honestly. I think like if I like now I listen to a lot of pop and I think it makes me dumber. Like musically. And then emo, there's definitely I had a big like Midwest emo, like I mentioned modern baseball. And then yeah, now I'm really in my Cheekface era has been the past couple of years. It's really like taken over my life. I heard that band and I was like, this is my brain. This is what the inside of my brain sounds like. Which I think like a lot of us have that experience. It's not that like I'm special. It's just that like they have the gift of writing really relatable music, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely have been on that beat. the last couple of years. And Guppy is an amazing band. That's kind of like the Cheekface extended universe, you know, that brought me to a lot of things that I love.
I feel like I should listen to more Guppy. I've only heard a couple of their songs, but
Highly recommend.
both you and Greg mentioned Guppy, so I feel like I
Yeah, you gotta see him. You gotta see him live. So what's really special about Guppy is one, their songwriting. I mean, and I'm a songwriter, so I'm always biased towards the songwriter of the group, right? But Jay is just like an alien. Like the way that they experience the world is not like the way that other people experience the world. They're just like a really special songwriter, in my opinion. They're like very like physical and sensory. Like their lyrics often like gross me out. I'm like, ugh, it's like why would you put it that way? You know, but it's like very impactful. And then the other thing that's so special about them is just the chemistry of like the four of them together. Like they always like stay with me when they're on tour, and it's like when you're in the room with them, it's like you feel kind of invisible. Not that they aren't like friendly and welcoming people, but just like the bond between the four of them is like overwhelming. And it's very evident when they're on stage. So they're just like a really, really special songwriting, really great execution, great people. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend.
I've heard their Alien song and Texting and Driving, but I'll probably just check out their new album that came out, Something Is Happening, and I'll let you know what I think of it. Cheekface influence is definitely there. Like I would consider you, Guppy, and them to like all be part of like the same like Venn diagram.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not sure. I struggled how to describe Cheekface lyrics when I was talking to Greg because they have like a very specific like feel to them. But I would say like taking something mundane or like a mundane feeling or experience and like making it absurd or like a little bit more palatable, but not in like a sugary way, in like more of a like, oh, this is weird, let's laugh at it kind of way.
Yeah, the tone is kind of hard to describe. Like so I always say it's kind of like it kind of has the alien syndrome like Guppy, where it's like a person like in a cloud looking down at like their day-to-day life, and there's like a numbness to it, you know. But it's like what's difficult to describe, I think, is like the tone of like it's funny, but they're not like trying to be funny. I think they just like are funny, you know. Like I don't think that they're like, let's make comedy music. It's just kind of like it's very authentic to like Greg and Mandy as people. I think just like their tone, it's like a little bit like arrogant or something, you know. Like there's like an edge to it that I like love. Like that's what like draws me to it. I think the way that like Greg plays guitar has like this attitude to it that is like, oh, you want to hear a guitar solo, you know?
Here you go.
I don't know. Yeah, like here's a freaking guitar solo. But it's never like mean. The thing that makes them special is just like core to like who they are as people, I feel like.
For sure.
Which is all music in my opinion. But
and you also did the Cheekface Discord did a charity compilation to raise money to go to different charities. You helped out on 2 songs from that album. I thought you did like a really good job on both of them. Like you like Twisted, Crying Back, and Only Say I'm Sorry When I'm Wrong Now together. And then you did vocals on a version of Don't Stop Believing. I thought you did a really good job with both of them. How did you land on those songs specifically to cover for that project?
I think I tried a bunch of different things. And I think I already had the Crying Back, Sorry Now mashup. Like I had just done it like a year before at some point just for fun. And then I'd been wanting to cover Don't Stop Believing because I think like I can sing it like in the same key but like 1 octave above, you know? So
that was something I noticed. I was like, this song fits your voice perfectly.
That's probably another reason why I love Cheekface so much, or like why I like got into it so hard, is just because like it works for my range. Like singing in my car, you know, is like a big part of how I get into a band. I feel like that comp turned out so good. That was so fun.
Yeah, it turned out great. Like I said the past 2 episodes when I brought it up, I don't really want to drop a tier 2 swear word, but I will definitely link the comp in the description for people who want to check it out, because all the money goes to the Palestinian Children Relief Fund and trans rights charities, which are definitely very very good cause. Definitely check out the link and let's listen to all the songs, Katie's especially. I'd like just to talk about, not necessarily to talk about like specific songs, but I love your debut album, but the thing that grasped me the most about it was not just the songs, but the title of it. I thought it had like, it communicates a very specific idea. It's a long title. I'm going to try to quote it from memory. I'm sorry if I miss 5 words or whatever, but it's like real poetry is about animals and trees and milk and honey breathing in the pink, but real life is behind a screen. And I remember
Close.
reading that and being like, yeah, I mean, every single like poem you read is about like nature and like all of these like phantasmal things, but all those phantasmal things aren't how we experience the world. We experience it with our phones and like
Yeah.
with the tools that our phone provides us. So I thought it was a very interesting statement in of itself, even independent of the music. So, do you know where the name came from? Like that whole like title, and if it was inspired by anything
Yeah,
in
it just is the
particular?
first line of Bite Me. Like it just was the song that I
Well,
started writing. And that
well,
happened
yeah.
with the previous project. That happens with like I guess like the full length projects that I've done or like where there'll be like a song that just like I write and I'm like, okay, cool, that's like the nucleus of this project and that's gonna be like the theme that I like
Mm-hmm.
pull more from. And then I was gonna call it Real Poetry, which I thought was a good title. It like, there's like a thing, it's like real N-word poetry, like for rap, So I didn't want people to think that I was like trying to like attach myself to that or something.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
good
I
call,
also
good
just thought
call.
it'd be like a good marketing ploy to make like a long freaking title, which it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the only reason that a lot of people listen to the album. So
The songs on it are good, but the title was definitely what struck me first. I was like, okay, I'm definitely
Mhm.
checking this
Right.
out.
You gotta have a marketing ploy. It's kind of the, like to get anywhere. You can't just make good music and put it out there.
Yeah, I felt the title of that one from Have You Tried Meditation? Because it's like, oh,
Yeah.
all of these real things in real life might help you, but like you're just like on your phone and like doing stuff on your phone instead is what I thought. The song feels like an anxious spiral that eventually petters out into silence in the last 10 seconds in a good way.
Thanks. Yeah, yeah. People like comment that on my TikTok sometimes, They're like, "Oh, like have you tried meditating or like yoga?" Just like when I'm complaining about something. It's like, it's one of those things like drinking more water or sleeping more where you're like, "Yes, that probably would solve all my problems." Like you're probably right. You
Yeah.
are correct. You are correct. I should try meditation.
The advice is appreciated, but it's
It's not
not
appreciated.
warranted. Yeah, it's
but
appreciated, but also not. Right, right.
yeah.
You're gonna be playing live in a couple weeks, and obviously you've got like a full band with you. You got the Music Band Nation of the
Yeah.
Pacing Music Band Nation. So it's yourself, obviously. It's Ben, who you already mentioned,
Mhm.
and
Vani is our drummer, and she has a great project called Vani Whatever, like her solo project. So yeah, super psyched to have her. She's gonna sing and stuff too, and she's a perfect addition to the trio.
obviously like they help out with some stuff with recording, but most of it is just you. So what's it like as a solo artist to go from playing mostly by yourself to on stage with two other musicians? I know you're close to them, but like
Yeah.
what's the transition like?
Well, the new album has more people on it. Like it has like more real drums, and Ben's on like almost every song. I think
Mm.
he might be on every song. So I am like kind of in the awkward like puberty phase between solo project and band. But like all the music you've heard essentially is just me and some Ben. It's like a small step forward. It's really not that much of a leap. We went in the studio and did real drums. Playing live, I feel like I'm just beginning to have fun, but I kind of am just like too anxious to have fun. Classic me. Like I would like to have more fun than I'm currently having. But I think that by
Mm.
the end of this tour, I better be really freaking awesome at it. Like we better be really comfortable if we're gonna play like 36 shows. I theoretically like playing shows. When I'm by myself, it's like a different vibe. Like I do a lot more talking, I think, because I feel like that's what you're there for, is to hear stories. It's not like I'm not like a great guitarist. I'm not like a great musician. I'm like a storyteller with things to say. So when I'm by myself, I do a lot more just like chatting, and I play different songs, right? Because I play like the songs that work better for hearing them by myself. And then with the band, we play different songs and I talk less, and I want like the focus on them as much as me. But yeah, they're like it's so funny. Like Ben and Vani are both like professionals, like I don't mean to just like continue shading myself over and over again, but it's just like logically, like it's not like my bias. It's like, objectively, they're both like professional musicians who could go gig, with
Mhm,
other people,
mhm.
and I am like absolutely not. Like I'm, the songwriter, but
I
like
get
the
what you're trying to
quality.
say.
So it's like I think it works really well. Like I think that the balance works really well, actually, of like two pros and then one like sort of chaotic person who's learning. Like it works really well.
I get what you're trying to say. They have
Mhm.
like band and playing live experience, and you're the songwriter who like makes and records the songs mostly by herself. So you get to join up with them, and it's like a our powers combined type situation when you're playing live.
Yeah, something like
Uh,
that.
mm. The tour coming up, you're supporting one of your favorite bands. You're supporting
My
Cheekface.
favorite band.
Another interview, that same chess interview, where we're like, if someone came up to me and asked who's your favorite band, I would say Cheekface without question.
One of my longer hyperfixations.
Along with Snakes for sure.
Yes, snakes did.
uh,
Yeah, but snakes are over. Snakes are dead to me.
Friendship ended with Snakes. Now it's
Yeah,
bears.
you're so on it. That's correct. Yeah.
I guess I remember that post from a week ago. You're touring with Cheekface, and I remember seeing the post you put out where you were holding up the sign announcing it, and you looked like you were either about to cry or had got done crying. And I can imagine if I was in your shoes, I probably would have been bawling nonstop because
Yeah,
that would
no,
be.
I was just like a basket case for like the lead up to it. Cause okay, so I didn't think we would have any chance of that. I didn't approach them before the tour was announced, like, and be like, hey, you should take us, just cause like I wouldn't have thought that we would be in the running for that at all, you know? I mean, it just makes sense. Like, you want a band with more draw, you know, for a tour like that. I have no touring experience. I did like one little, anyway, so I put the tour out. And then I noticed, like everyone else, I was like waiting to see who the support was going to be. And then there was no support. So I was like, maybe they're like trying to fill some like gap of like a couple of weeks or something, like where they need a band, you know? So I just texted him and was like, hey, you know, if you need support, we are available. And he like called me like immediately. And I was like, you know, then it was just like a couple of weeks of like waiting, in which, like, you know, we were just like waiting to figure out if it was going to be, because they had a couple other bands they were like talking to still. And during that period, I was psychotic because I went from like thinking like, oh, this would never happen, like I have no chance of this, to being like, oh, this totally could happen, and if it doesn't, I will be crushed. During that period, I was like absolutely psychotic. And then after we got it, I continued to be psychotic for like another month, and then now I feel numb. Yeah.
That was me during the half hour between me asking Greg if I could interview him and his
Oh, I
reply
feel
saying
you.
that I
Yeah.
could. Just like, oh gosh, oh god, what's gonna happen?
We are the same, except I'm about to go be like in the room with them for 2 months, and I'm just the whole time I'm just gonna be like,
You get to see all their shows for free, pretty much.
I know. There's no better
I'm
place to be than at a Cheekface show, you know? I feel like it's like
Oh.
nowhere else do I feel like, these are my people, you know?
When I was there for the first time last May in Philly, it was one of the most magical experiences of my life. It was so fun. It was so intimate. It was fantastic. I'm
Their
glad.
fans are just great. Like, I don't know how it works out that way, but I feel like they're dynamic of people who like love, and that's why I joined like Cheekface Discord server. It's not like I joined Discord servers for like every band that I love, you know? This band particularly, like, I was like, I love this band so much that I think that I think I will also get along with anyone else.
I joined because I was starting to annoy all of my non-indie loving friends with
literally.
Cheekface, so
Yeah.
I was like, I need somewhere else to go, and the people there were just super welcoming, and I haven't regretted the decision to join the Discord. It's a really fun
because
place.
it's hard when you like stand like a tiny band, you know, and there's like no one to talk to. There's like a couple other songwriters that I like really deeply love, and they're like, you know, like inspirational to me, and there is no community.
Hold them gently in my hands and never stop talking about them.
Right. I mean, that's your job. Yeah.
Say we're about halfway through questions right now. We'll go to the mailbag questions I have wrangled up. These are Pacing fan submitted questions. Half of them are from your Music Band Nation server on Discord. Half of them are from the Cheekface Bagel store. First question is from a college friend of mine. She wants me to ask them to everybody that I've been interviewing. So my friend Rachel wants to know, which animal would you want to be and why?
Which animal do I want to be? I mean, like a bird, I guess, because you can fly. Like, I don't know. The birds are terrifying. They're like stupid dinosaurs. A cat seems fine, but you'd be bored. Yeah, I'll go bird. I don't know.
Bird. All right, good. A specific bird or just a bird?
I don't know if I want to be a bird. I take it back.
Okay, that's fair.
You know, it's just like once you're that animal, you don't have any of your same thoughts. So I feel like the question breaks itself. Like, if I can still be myself and like my brain and be a bird, then I'll be a bird. Yeah.
Good answer to that one. You deconstructed the question. This one is from Socrates from the Bagel Store Cheekface server. They told me that you work in IT as a day job. I'm not sure how they know that.
Kind of. not really IT, but I mean, sure. I work in like human factors research.
This is kind of a question I asked Harry as well. Someone with a day job who also makes music, what's the process of balancing the two things? Not just work life and time balance, but also how do they engage the brain differently?
It's really, really difficult. Okay, so I really like having the day job. Like, I do not want to move towards having pacing be my full-time job because I really like the division of having like, this is fun and I do it because I want to, and this is where I vent about the, my job, right? Versus like, this is what I do for work to make money and it's not my life, and when I come home I do not think about it. I mean, like, I love my job, I love my coworkers, like, but I really like having the division. Like, I think if I were to try to do this all the time, and even now it's like getting a little overly serious, like with going on the tour, doing interviews, working on the new album and doing like art and everything, it's become rather job like. And that's why I always just try to like keep things fun and try to do like little projects that are less serious. But yeah, so I really like having the division. I'm not like working towards getting rid of having a job. But it's really hard. I mean, it can be really difficult. Like, there are weeks like this month is just really hard because I'm getting ready for tour, and I also have like a third job where I run shows for like the DIY scene here. Like, I help out with Heavy Lemon. San Jose is our like collective that puts on shows, and my good friend in the band Star 99 is on tour. Super happy for them. My friend Chris in that band normally like he's the main guy that runs the shows, so I'm doing it while he's gone. And I'm also going to the office every day, and I go to a show like 3 or 4 shows a week, basically. Okay, that's not true. Like 3 shows a week, and then pacing stuff, and then like I'm just like dying.
That does sound like a lot.
Yeah.
So it could be a difficult balance, but you're glad that there's like a separation, pretty much.
For sure.
This one is from Esther from the bagel store as well. What got you into music and when? I know you answered it earlier, but
I don't remember ever not being into music. I mean, like, my parents, like my mom would play like Louis Armstrong, Paul Simon when I was a kid on the record player. Yeah, I think I always liked music.
Ever since a wee pacing.
Yeah.
These are from the your Discord server now. From Gabby from the pacing server. I adore the Snake Facts EP, and I just wanted to know, why snakes? Will we learn about other animals in future projects?
I love Gabby. I was really scared of snakes. Like, I was having like a lot of nightmares about snakes. This was like it's like in 2022, or is it 2023? I was like going through kind of a hard time. My dad was dying and I was like traveling a lot to go to Atlanta. And I don't know, like, snakes became like weirdly, like, I was always scared of snakes, like just like in the way that like normal, most people are scared of snakes, but it like became like a weird like focus of negativity where I kept like having nightmares that there were like snakes everywhere. And then I don't know why I'm an idiot, but like one night before I was going to bed, I decided to look up on YouTube, like, the snake that I thought was the scariest was a green mamba for some reason, because I read about one in a book and it like stuck in my nightmares. And this is like the stupidest thing ever, is I'm like, oh, I'm about to go to sleep. I'm having a hard time like sleeping. I hope I don't have nightmares about snakes. And then I'm like, let me look up some videos of snakes. But it actually like really worked as exposure therapy, sort of, because I started like watching videos about snakes, and I just like sort of learned that there wasn't really like the snake of my nightmares that I thought was, like really aggressive and like highly deadly, you would die immediately if it bit you. Like, that snake doesn't really exist. Like, most snakes want nothing to do with people, especially in like North America. We're like sort of lucky. It's like, as long as you don't like step on a rattlesnake, you're like probably fine. I then like, it's like the amount that I was like, it was, the snakes were like this, I should go to therapy. Who knows how this, like, it was like this, the amount the snakes were like a negative focus in my life, it like reversed, and I became like obsessed with them for some reason. Like, I just got really into like learning about snakes. I got really into like the snake ID like subreddit, where like someone posts a picture of a snake and then everyone has to guess people respond and tell them what it is. So I got really into like the game of like identifying snakes, and that also was like really good exposure therapy, I think, because it's like positive feedback. You're playing a game involving looking at pictures of the thing you're scared of. So anyway, it like fully, the amount that I was scared of snakes became the amount that I was obsessed with snakes. And then I had like this really bizarre 1-year period in which I would just be like, I would just be sitting there and I'd be like, God, I really want to see a snake right now. And I got addicted to like watching snake YouTube. Then like I would like when I was like going to bed at night, I used to like watch chess videos, and then instead I would watch like rattlesnake relocation videos for like a year. Like my poor husband, he'd be like in bed trying to sleep, and I'd be like watching videos of people relocating rattlesnakes.
That sounds pretty fun though, like people helping snakes and saving snakes.
Oh, it's lovely. I highly recommend the YouTube channel Rattlesnake Solutions, based in I think in Arizona.
I'll check it out.
I have a deep parasocial relationship with several of their rattlesnake relocators.
He also said, will we learn about other animals in future projects? Obviously, I know the bear.
The bear one started similarly. I'm pretty scared of getting mauled by a bear, but I'm not going to do like a bear facts EP. You know, like I just can't repeat myself. It's like anytime someone makes a joke on the internet and they're like, Bear Facts EP win, haha. I'm like, well, now never, because you thought of it first, you know? Like, I just have to do different things.
I feel like I can't move on without asking you for a random snake fact.
Well, I mean, I've got 3 on the EP that you can have, but
I mean, you could just repeat one of those or whatever.
Yeah, I think like I think it's called Bayesian mimicry is really interesting, where like you'll have like if there's a venomous snake in a region, then there'll often be like another snake that looks a lot like that snake, like it has like a really similar pattern, because they like evolve to look like the venomous one. So I guess that like predators will be scared of them, which is crazy. Like it's crazy that happens. So like in the, you know, like the coral snake is a highly venomous snake in North America, which by the way, like you don't need to be scared of, because like it has no interest in biting you. It's like the most docile snake in the world. But if it did, it'd be bad. Right. So it has a counterpart, the king snake, the like Sonoran or mountain king snake. I think both of those like it looks the same, but it's like a couple of the bands are reversed. It's like red and yellow. But yeah, they evolved that way to look like and that happens like all over the world. Like in Australia, a lot of highly venomous species have like a counterpart of a snake looking like it. And then even like if you piss off a snake, sometimes it'll like rattle its tail at you, even if it doesn't have a rattle.
Right.
Because like harmless snakes will like try to look like venomous snakes to like scare you off. They'll shake their tail, and sometimes it kind of makes a sound because it's like hitting itself, you know, even though they don't have rattles. And they'll make their head look pointy. Like they'll like if you piss off a water snake, which looks like a cottonmouth, but it is harmless, it will like do its best cottonmouth impression. Like it will like make its head look more triangular and like get beefy looking, but it like is not a cottonmouth.
That is legitimately super cool though. I love it. I love stuff like that. I'm pretty sure there's like butterfly and moth species that have like wings that look like owl heads for a similar purpose, to try to like scare people into not eating them.
That's crazy, isn't it? Like how does that
that happen? Yeah, science is cool. Yeah, I guess I'll share a snake fact too. That snake fact I shared in the server the other day, where rattlesnake rattles are made of the stuff that your fingernail is made of.
Yeah, that's sick. That's cool.
Yeah,
and, you know, they're not born. This is on the EP, but you know they're not born with rattles. Like they start with like a little nub, and then every time they shed, it like rolls into a rattle.
Into another rattle.
So it's like their shed skin. It's crazy.
I learned that from a PBS kids show when I was younger, and it just stuck with me ever since. I was like, whoa, we got a thing on our body that rattlesnakes have. Cool.
Yeah, that makes sense, because it's just like the stuff like nails and like hair is made of, I guess, right? What is that? Isn't it the same?
I don't know enough about that, but I do know the rattlesnake fact. Next question. This is from also someone from the pacing server. Jacob Norman Chainsaw Arm, I believe was his full name on the server. What are some of your non-music related influences?
I mean, everything, you know, like a lot of what songwriters do, I think, is just sort of like walk around the world with your notebook and write down things you see. Like I love like bad advertisements. I love like TV, like lines people say on TV, stuff, dialogue. Like all the time I write down things that people say, like in a meeting at work, or, you know, just like my friends say, that I think is like sort of just like a normal thing a person would say, but it has like sort of a funny second meaning to me, or like accidentally poignant sentences. Yeah, I mean, I always think like like the fact that I'm doing music is kind of like a coincidence. I feel like it's like I would be doing some artsy shit and it's just like it's music right now, but it's like I'm just into like concept execution essentially and this is my current medium. Like I would be doing who knows what.
I will also be inspired by random things. I forget to write them down and I end up forgetting about them, and they pop up days later. Last mailbag question. I'm sure you know who this is. This is from Timber.
Yay, Timber.
And yay, Timber. She wants to know, did you always want to do music, or was this just a random thing you started doing?
Yeah, I definitely like it's just a random thing I started doing. It's so funny. Like I said, like I always, I always was like an artist. Like when I feel like my first big thing as like a kid, I was really into visual art and I did like a lot of sculpture and painting and drawing, And that was like my entire identity. Like I was like the art kid, like everyone thought I would go to art school. And then I shifted to photography. And like once again, it was just like my entire life. It was like everywhere I went, I had a camera. I was like obsessed with photography. That went away, and then there was like a period where I was like not really doing any art. That was like kind of weird. Like it was like when I was in grad school, and I was getting like really frustrated. And then that's when I got into songwriting. Like at the end of grad school, I like became obsessed with that. Like other kinds of there's just like writing in general. I think like writing short form like poetry and newsletters and whatever essay, like just writing, and then songs and like studying songwriting and production. So yeah, I am lost without some hobby that's taking over my entire life. And currently it's music. God knows what I'll do next. Maybe I'll be like pottery, like who freaking knows?
Maybe you'll write poems next. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean, no, really. I mean, I do write poems. Like I love writing. Like I think that, yeah.
Writing squad for the win.
Yeah, it's
All
important,
right.
It's like how you organize your brain thoughts.
Writing is cooler than people know. Lots of people get burnt out from writing essays in grade school and they never try to write again, but writing is awesome. Like unironically, writing and reading are awesome.
It's so important, just like to help you think through. Yeah.
Think and process thoughts, yes.
Process your thoughts. To help you think. Yeah.
Help you think. That was the last mailbag question. Thank you to everyone who submitted mailbag questions for Miss Pacing. I hope that you enjoyed her answers. I hope I pronounced everyone's name correctly. You mentioned before about during one of the questions about keeping things fun, and that's one of the reasons why your latest EP, just called Songs, that one is like fun. That one's like fun to listen to. It's like I can tell like you were having fun cutting loose and just writing and recording whatever, and I was having fun listening to it because the
good. I'm glad.
The parking ticket song that I've mentioned a couple of times already, like that one's just like really fun in general. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll tell people all the time to like introduce you to them. Like I'll be like, she set the back of a tortilla bag to music and it sounds great. And it sounds great. Like I'll tell them about the tortilla chip song.
That was another just like thing I did that turned out to be an amazing marketing ploy.
The people who made that bag should contact you and be like, can we use your song in our ads or whatever?
I know, they should. Well, hopefully they don't like sue me, but
I don't think they can sue you. I don't think they can copyright the back of a bag of chips.
That's what I actually asked a lawyer, not like officially, but I like ran into a lawyer and I was like, hypothetically, and that's what he said. He thinks you could just probably don't copyright the side of the bag. So
all right. LA Parking Violations Bureau song, the remix, that one's great too.
Yeah, my friend, I had very little to do with that. I recorded the audio and then I sent it to my friend Logan Castro, who's an amazing composer. He has a band called Walk the Whale, and we were gonna like work on it together because like he's done stuff like this before. Like he does crazy sound composition stuff. So I was like, I recorded, I got a parking ticket, I paid it, I recorded I'm gonna record this, me paying the parking ticket, and then I just like sent him the whole thing, and I was like, hey, let's like work on this together. And then he just made that and sent it back, and I was like, all right, it's done, never mind. I was like, that's perfect. So I just put it on there, but like I had very little to do with it. I essentially commissioned that.
That EP was made to be kind of like a little fun release. I remember on the Bandcamp you said, I'm doing this because I like it, and if I'm not, there's like no reason to do it. I don't remember the exact wording, but like you made the song as
like it better be fun.
Yeah, it better be
fun. I do for fun.
Yeah. So you made the EP as a way of kind of like releasing all these ideas out into the world and like keeping things fun. And I would say you succeeded.
Thank you. Yeah, it was kind of just a distraction from because the real album, quote unquote, that I've been working on for like 2 years, it's now almost done. I'd say it's done. We just need to finish mixing and do sequencing, which is like one day. It has been such a freaking ordeal. Like it was just, it's like the songs mean a lot to me and they're all like, I put a lot more like effort and money and time into like the way they were recorded and stuff. So it's been like a much more like serious project. And there's been times where it's just like not fun at all, which is a huge bummer.
Right.
So I wanted to do something like very quickly.
You want to keep your fun hobbies fun.
Yeah, that's the idea.
And did you draw the little tic-tac-toe on the front yourself?
Yeah, I do all my own art. So far, all of it's, yeah.
I loved little doodles on that cover of that one. That was great.
Thank you.
Everyone check out the Songs EP. It's really fun. You'll get to see this person sing the back of a tortilla bag, and it's incredible. I was just listening to it before we started talking too. I'm like, wow, like your voice is so smooth, like it's great.
Thank you.
Normally this is the time where I would ask what's next for the Music Band Nation of Pacing, but you just said that you have a new album that's almost done. There was this whole I hate pacing
Yes.
viral marketing thing that happened a week or two ago. The lead single is coming out in a couple days from when we're recording this. If you, obviously by the time this comes out, this is going to be like the middle of May by the time this interview comes out. So if
well, in that case,
if you
the song
haven't,
is out. 2 songs are out. There's another song out. I'm on tour. I hope I'm having a good time.
I'm sure you will be. With that being the case, is there any like little things you'd like to divulge about the album that you'd like to share, or do you want to keep things under wraps?
I mean, so by this point, the album is announced theoretically, and it'll be out over the summer. And yeah, the title track is called Planet Fitness, and it's a song about canceling my dad's Planet Fitness membership when he died. And this sort of in general, like what happens to your data when you die being a theme. But yeah, it's about how like I was just kind of like canceling his online subscriptions before he died, because when someone dies, it's like it's very sad, but there's also a lot of just like mundane logistics that need to be done, right? We were like kind of like cleaning out his apartment like around him while he was dying, just because it's like you need something to do. It's like, very stressful, right? Sitting there not having a... So I was like canceling subscriptions, which was a total waste of time, because later I just canceled the bank account and they all went away. But anyway, Planet Fitness is one that when I got to it, it makes you you can't cancel online in the state of Georgia. You have to like go to the gym, So I, like a couple days later, we were like, very stressful week, right? Like everything, just a lot, like heightened emotional state. Like a couple days later, Ben and I were like driving to run some other like bank errand, and we like passed a Planet Fitness, and I was like, pull over, we're going to Planet Fitness. And I like stormed into this Planet Fitness ready to like yell at a person, and then they were like super nice, so of course I didn't. And I was just like I like walked in, I was like, I need to cancel my dad's membership, he's dead. And they were like, oh, we're like so sorry, like we'll do it right away. And I was like, okay, I cannot be mad at this like 17-year-old who has nothing to do with this.
right.
But I thought it was a poignant moment.
Well, first of all, my condolences to you.
Thank you. It's been like 2 years, so but yeah, it's rough time.
Oh, well, yeah. But yeah,
that's how freaking long it took to make this album.
Second of all, I can relate to that, of like being mad at like a company and then like seeing someone working for that, and it's like, oh, I should make them have to bear my frustrations.
We all want someone to be justifiably angry at, and then most of the time that person isn't really there.
Something tells me I'm gonna vibe with the song when it comes out.
Nice. I hope so.
Any other tidbits about the album you want to share, or do you want to keep the rest of it under wraps for now? Because
I'm happy to share. I'm just like trying to think of like I'm like in the process now of like figuring out what to say about it.
Maybe like one more little fact about it.
Yeah, there's definitely a theme about sort of just like liking the things that you like, even if they're dumb. There's a lot about like watching TV. Like a lot of it is inspired by just sort of like that dynamic of I go to work and then I come home and I just want to shut my brain off. And I feel like I have that a lot, where I just like, I wish I could relax more. Like I wish I could just like put my brain in some Jello for a little bit and just like... So watching TV, like advertising and marketing, and sort of just like the world we live in. Everyone has an agenda at all times. And then like parasocial relationships is a big theme. Like there's a song about like my like obsession with this like chess YouTuber, like that period, the period before the snake YouTube, where I was really into chess YouTube. I don't know, it's really all over the place. It's kind of a hot mess, but it's all real.
As long as it's real, that's what matters.
Well, fake is fine too. I love fake songs, so
yeah.
Yeah, this one's rather real.
Either way, I can't wait to hear it when it comes out, and hopefully our listeners can't wait to hear it either.
I'm excited. I hope people like it.
I'll pop links to the singles and stuff in the description as they come out and stuff, so people can check them out.
Yeah, the whole I hate pacing marketing campaign is very much a manifestation of just like my anxiety that people will not like it. So it's very real.
I hate pacing because she sold out. JK, she's really we like pacing. Everything is fine. Which side are you on?
I don't know. I can't decide. I don't know. We'll see what people think. I think we'll see.
Yeah, I genuinely thought that was really fun though. And then the number in the video, I don't live in California, so I didn't know that was going to take me to the parking ticket hotline.
Yeah, it's like an Easter egg for like the 3 people who care.
I got pacing rolled.
Nice.
I
Gotcha.
guess to answer the question in your own way, the question that I posed at the top of the show, I'm sure you'll have a different perspective because you're mostly solo. What does it mean to you personally to be kind of on the fringe, making your own music away from like mainstream labels and stuff like that?
I mean, I think that everyone needs to do the thing that is true to them, and it's like easier said than done. It's like you have to find it. But I think that's like that's not only just like for the sake of being different, it's just like that is like no one wants to hear you pretend to do a thing that isn't you. Like just in reality, it just is a lot more effective, I think, most of the time. You know, that's how I make music. It's just like you find the thing that only you can do, and you like lean into the things, you know, like I write songs for like my vocal range, for example, right? It's not like I'm trying to sing a Kelly Clarkson song. That would not work, you know, like I lean into like the cadence and phrasing that is natural to me and my speaking voice and the things that I would say in day-to-day life, you know. Like I think that just as much as you can like find the thing that is easier said than done, it's like just be yourself. It's like, yeah, I'm freaking trying, but like as much as you can lean into the things that are you, it like not only is like more fun and easier, but is also just like what people will gravitate towards. So in that sense, like, yeah, how like you make interesting things, right? You make interesting little subgenres, but sometimes those things go very mainstream, and that's just like a matter of what people like. You never know what's going to happen, but
Right, exactly. People like stuff that feels natural. That one David Byrne quote, the better the singer's voice, the harder it is to believe what they're saying. Like, people like stuff that's like genuine and unfiltered. And then just one last question here. If you had to give any sort of advice to like a fellow indie musician, whether they're in a band or solo or up and coming or doing it for a while, what kind of advice would you give to them?
I think like in general, you know, I feel like I have to keep learning the lesson over and over again of like doing, you know, like the reason to do this is for fun and to make things that you like, right? And do not try to make things that you think other people will like, because it usually will not work out. Just to like sort of be unprecious about things, I think is a good idea. That's why I try to do a balance, because it's like you want your perfect album to be perfect. You want to like, you know, work on every detail, but you also like this album has taken me 2 years and now like it feels so far away from it, you know, like those songs were written such a long time ago. And I think it's like also can be really good to just be unprecious about things and like put them out before you're ready, like finish them before they're really finished and put them out before they're ready. I think that a lot of people will just get stuck on like, they'll like write a song and they're like, this song is so good, this is my best song ever. And then they'll like spend like a real like way too long getting it perfect. Like I personally prefer to spend that time like writing 20 more songs, you know. I think that like you just like not getting too stuck on things. Like your best work is still in the future, you know. You have to believe that to keep going. You can't just get like stuck on stuff.
That's definitely good advice. Thank you very much. That will be the end of our discussion together. Thank you once again to Miss Katie Pacing for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's always fun to talk about yourself for an hour. I mean, this is great.
And that will do it for today's episode of On the Fringe. Thank you once again to Katie McTigue for the interview. It was an absolute pleasure being able to chat with you. Go follow her and the rest of the Music Band Nation at Pacing Music if you liked what she had to say. On the Fringe will be taking a break for now, but if you want to make sure you're notified about any future episodes, make sure to follow us wherever you may be listening. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. Thanks again for listening to this episode of On the Fringe, and we will see you next time.